And we are back.
We're flipping it to maybe the B-side. I don't know.
I was going to ask, do you want to do the B-side or do
Let's
you want to
flip
go
it to the
strawberries
B-side.
first?
I would just say B-side, so it's newer content.
Okay. Old side, Black Moonrise mix by, I didn't get to read it fast enough.
Cherries are kind of like getting grubs in, what is it?
Strawberries? Straw cherries?
Strawberries are like getting grubs in Hollow Knight.
Oh man, there's, I still only had the one jump.
Like, it's kind of interesting, but at the same time, I kind of rather see what kind of new challenges they're going to throw at us if we're playing these old levels again.
Yeah. It's, they're going to be hard though, man.
Yeah.
I heard these B-sides are insanely hard. That's why I was like...
Well, we're doing this just for fun, so, I mean, hopefully we go through them, and if you guys keep supporting the show, I mean, yeah.
I don't know what to do here.
Yeah.
I think you have to do the hop jump, which I don't think I did.
Already at an impasse.
Yeah, man. These are hard. You really have to use the techniques. You're talking some supreme endgame stuff, and I'm just talking about regathering cherries. This is gonna be really hard. Like, you have to do like the... How do you even do it?
Doesn't it refresh your thing when you're in there?
Yeah, I get one. And that's it.
Huh. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe we should just go for cherries then.
I was like, I don't know, man. Like, it almost doesn't feel like I have the hyper jump, but I don't really have anywhere.
Maybe you have to do it from the little bottom pit instead of doing it.
It's gonna put me into the wall. Yeah, it doesn't even do it. Feels like I don't have it. I have to have it.
You would think you
Am I just not doing it? Huh. Let me try. No, we'll have to come back once I figure out
how that
what's
stuff
going
works.
on with that. Oh, okay. We'll just
And
exit
right
out.
to death.
Return to map. Yeah, man, because this is like supreme endgame B-sides or supreme endgame stuff.
Gotcha.
Where people are like, oh yeah, chapter 2 B-sides, I had like
Did people say there's
3,000
like
deaths.
a C-side as well?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Yeah, not
I
for
think
me.
the C-sides are coming out,
Oh,
and I think the D-sides are modded.
gotcha.
Now maybe I have them mixed up, but you know, we'll see.
I don't know.
Ooh, we're on the sparkly.
Other than what we've played, I haven't
ethereal
looked up
side.
anything of Celeste.
I haven't either. I've only like what I've been told and stuff like that. So these ones I know we can go through to get a strawberry. We got to go through without
Yeah.
touching the ground or something. Someone said in the comment section. Whee!
Did it make you go through a whole segment without touching anything to get one?
I think it's just on that one. I think you got to like not touch the ground. Oh, come on.
Yeah, games like this and Super Meat Boy, I always test out for them like, that was cool, and then I just never finish it.
No, we're doing it for content, man. We're
No,
doing it to-
you're playing, I meant me as a person. Like, as a person, like, when I get to these type of games, like, that was cool, and then I'll usually drop it if I don't clear it fast enough.
Can I not?
Nah, yeah, we gotta find a way to unlock it first.
Wait.
Because you start from
There we
below.
go. That's what it is. It's been a while. Now I'm getting it. Now I'm feeling it. All right, boys and girls, I get it now. Okay. I don't know if you can hyper jump through the jellies. Because you have to like jump, but once you, I think you have to dash
If you pass through it, you think you lose your momentum?
But to end the jump, to end the hyper jump, you have to actually physically jump.
Oh.
And I don't think you can go through the jellies while jumping. I think you have to go through by dashing. So
That's weird.
I'm not entirely sure what the path is. Maybe you can, and I'm just doing it wrong. It's also an end game technique, so
Right.
it's not like I'm not doing it in a way where I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this is easy.
B-sides might be something we have to watch and figure out how to do it before we actually do it.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
So did you watch any of the Google stuff that happened today?
What happened on the Google stuff? Was that
Oh.
the Stadia or whatever the fuck they call it?
Yeah, STD? Yeah.
What do they
that
call
thing
it?
is that thing's terrifying.
God damn me. What do they call it?
It's Stadia, so it's like a pun.
Stadia?
It's a pun off stadium. So they spell it like STADIA instead of like stadium, which is IUM.
It's a pun?
Yeah, it's basically a pun. Even
damn.
their opening intro to like introducing it is like you going through like a football tunnel. Except it shows like different interfaces of like, hey, this is like a pipe system. This is like a Metroid type game. This is a Doom-like game. This is a FIFA-like game.
That's crazy. I didn't watch any of it. I only heard people were
I
like,
watched
this is stupid. And then some other people were like, it's not meant for you. It's meant for developers, dummy. And then a lot of people were like, well, it was on the internet for millions. So what are we supposed to think?
Yeah.
So I didn't watch it, so I have no idea.
I watched the hour press conference. It's kind of terrifying with how much money Google has, because they seem very committed. They're like, and we will be bringing you like first-party games. It's like, are you guys going to just start buying up studios? Or like Jade Raymond, who was at Ubisoft back in the day, is there like one of their lead people, along with Phil Harris, who was big at Microsoft for a long time, bunch of E3 press conferences. So basically what Stadia is it's a gaming stream service, which uses cloud computing in order to render games. So on a Chromebook, you could be playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey at 60 frames per second, 1080p. Or eventually up to 4K, according to what Google says. And what some people have said, hey, yes, this totally works.
Isn't it bandwidth appropriate?
That's what a lot of people are questioning.
Yeah.
So bandwidth is obviously going to come into play. So some people are like, no, I'll believe it when I see it. And people are like, well, I've tested it out and it's fine. It's like, yeah, but how good's your internet? How good is this going to work in Florida for somebody?
I don't think they're building it 100% for people in Florida yet. Because didn't they say they were building it with the hopes that their fiber optic network would be expanding and stuff?
Part of it too, but like even like the way they were going about it, they believed like, hey, a lot of this is already like very doable.
I didn't grab that one. Damn me! Thought you just had to
just
touch
some of the
jelly.
like the aggressive nature that was going through like some of their speech about like how we have things that other consoles don't, and we're more powerful by like 7 teraflops compared to the PlayStation 4 and all these older consoles. And
it was like the 4 versus 8 teraflops or whatever it is, or whatever the 10. They have 10 gigawatts.
Google, like, it sounds a little bit silly to say like, hey, I mean, you use Gmail, you use all these Google things, and you're fine with it. Something about them invading the gaming space has me with like a lot of trepidation, where it's like,
I think it makes a lot of sense for Google.
It makes a lot of sense, but it could be like very terrifying in some ways, because they could easily, with how much money they have, they could easily kind of kill all other competitors.
Yeah, I could see how you don't want the market to be overrun.
Like, it's not a bad thing, Google entering the market, but when companies like Google kind of come into the foray, it's like, okay, Google can literally just keep shoveling money out to buy any studio and get any first-party exclusives they want from big studios. Like, think about what Epic Games has been doing lately. How they've been just paying people out. And they've already, like, kind of miffed off a lot of different people in that regard. Because people are like, we want choices as consumers. We don't want to be stranglehold to one platform, even if it's all on PC.
Yeah.
Because of the different options.
I get you. It is worrisome to see in some aspects. I think they'll do it in a way where it's like, all right, like Sony and Microsoft aren't going anywhere immediately, right?
Not
Why do they do
immediately.
that?
It's more so like if everything falls into Google's place, you can easily see with it being able to play games like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, like heavy intense games, and games that could even be pushed even further on cloud computing. It kind of can paint a terrifying picture. It's like, well, you're never gonna own the games now, which it's all streaming. And what about your saves? None of it's local anymore. You no longer have ownership of the game. What happens when it's like Netflix and all of a sudden, oh yeah, that game's just gone? It's like, so I never can play that game again now?
Like Scott Pilgrim vs. the Universe.
That was one thing I saw on Twitter.
Or what was it? Scott Pilgrim
versus the game. The movie based off
versus the world. Yeah.
Fucking primo game. And luckily, I still have it downloaded, so maybe someday we'll play it.
No, we can't play it. We have to sell that PlayStation for a fortune.
Yeah, we probably could.
How do I get to that other one?
But that was one thing that someone said right off the bat I saw on Twitter. I'm sorry, I don't remember the Twitter handle.
How do we get up there?
I don't know.
WTF, mate? Not over there.
Not that way either. But that was the first example. They're like, so when I heard of Stadia, it was just like they just posted like, this is all I could think of. It was just a picture of Scott Pilgrim versus the World video game, which
I saw
one
that
of the
too.
Best soundtracks in a game, hands down.
It was really good.
Anamanaguchi knocked it out of the
This
park.
way? How do
I didn't see
get
any.
to that one strawberry? I didn't see anywhere specifically.
Probably gonna have to come back to it. And Robert Patterson did. Not Robert Patterson.
Isn't that the guy from?
That's an author.
Oh no!
I think it is Rob Pat something though.
Pat something?
Yeah.
Is that a German name?
So something you will probably make, if you had been watching the press conference for
haven't.
Google, you would immediately cringed because MatPat was on there. And I know how much of a fan you are of MatPat.
I just don't like his tactics a lot, man.
So I was initially not on board with you. I was like, he doesn't seem that bad. And I saw him at the Google press conference and the way he held himself, like, I get it now. I get what Chris is saying. There's that kind of level of...
Oh, boy. Well, we're going down.
There's that level of corporate nature to it where it's just like...
Well, he's got it. He's a map. I mean, I'm not saying don't play the game.
No.
But I'm saying, like, he kind of seems a little...
Well, MatPat was just one of their...
God damn me.
He was
Just
their
kill me.
key person to bring in as the voice of YouTube.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he's got a ton of followers and stuff.
No, yeah, and it makes sense. Like, if you're gonna bring in someone, that's game centric, and there's like whatever your opinion on MatPat is, whatever your opinion is MatPat.
Yeah.
I'm not
saying
super
don't...
strong either way. Just the way the press conference was held felt like those really cringy.
I think it was back there. Get me, girls.
Like EA press conferences where it's all like weird business and like the hand gestures and like the weird stage presence.
I think you gotta kind of feel like you're alive and moving around and I guess you can't go to the left there, huh?
And like, it's the first time he's done it, but it felt very corporate in a way that everyone...
I think they want it to be sanitized.
Yeah. And when Jade Raymond came out there, I mean, she has so much experience in the field, and she was at Ubisoft and Ubisoft press conferences and just run studios. Like,
yeah.
Hers felt more natural. But she's like, this is the way of gaming.
I wouldn't put it past MatPat to be like, hey man, you were nervous up there.
Yeah.
Probably was.
Probably was very nervous being at a key conference at GDC.
Come on. I don't blame him there. And if that was the case, I didn't see it. If that was the case, then it's like, oh yeah, man.
But yeah, 90% of that conference felt like an EA press conference. Like, they're talking about like stats and all this other stuff. It's like, this is not how you get through to gamers. And it showed very little gameplay, but most people that have tried it have said...
It's also still in development, right?
No, they did a test run in 2018, and it's pretty much ready to go. It's launching this year.
Oh, that's a little crazy.
Yeah.
And how do we get up to that one?
They didn't talk about price. They didn't talk about whether it's getting a subscription. They didn't talk about how much games are going to cost. They didn't talk about what it's going to do for like developers. They're like, you can use our different cloud cores in order to, because I don't understand how most of the tech works. I understand that there's obviously, it's being streamed off mega computers. And they said like, developers will have access to one, or if they choose to, pay to use more, and they can use like 2 at once, which
God damn, I gotta get really ahead of that.
Like double the power of a PS4. But like, is that going to cost developers more money? Is that something they're going to have to continually pay for? Is that a service they have to maintain?
I'm sure they're most of the time going to be doing subscription-based everything.
Yeah,
pretty much, man.
Is that something like?
That's shitty, right?
Yeah, there's just something about it.
How do I?
It's both
really time
very
that one.
interesting to see what cloud computing can do for gaming, but it's also terrifying from someone that likes to own their games, even if they're digital games. There's something about it being stored on your computer. There's something about owning a Switch. There's so many things that when a big giant corporation like Google is like, hey, we're gonna get in there, you're like, I have a lot of trepidation because I can see this easily becoming Abstergo from Assassin's Creed, where we just control the world now. It's like, I know Google controls the world, but at the same time, it's like,
That was my rebuttal was going to be, don't they already?
Don't they already?
Like,
it is. It's just there's.
I wouldn't say this is the line where it's like, oh man, they really got us now.
Right now, I feel like the games, like obviously this is what we knew was coming for a while. So Xbox is going to try and do it too, and while
they tried to do it a while ago, yeah.
They're probably about to do it this E3 again.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They're going to be hoping that everyone forgot.
They're hoping everyone forgot, but. In some ways, it's really cool because the fact that your computer's not really hindered for playing certain games, like that can be really cool. But I really like the space we're in right now for gaming. Like, it's not perfect, but there's a lot of balance between.
God damn me, I meant to do diagonal.
All of the different kind of competitors, like PC, Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, they all kind of have a slice of the pie. And even though
it's competition's good.
Yeah, competition is great. And there's nothing wrong with Google getting in this space. It's just some of the things that could be brought about by cloud computing, which, technology always moves forward. The future's always coming for us. And so you can't always be too
kill us.
You can't be too beholden on the past. And I'm not saying like I need a physical copy of a video game. It's just
nice knowing that you have the ability to play a game
that I paid for.
that you paid for.
And that's
I think that's all it is, right?
That's a big majority of it. And just with how much money Google has, some people are like, okay, they can literally just buy studios and do exclusive. Exactly what Epic's doing.
Would they? Bill Gates could too.
Bill Gates could too, but Bill Gates isn't there anymore.
Oh,
neither
shit.
is Steve Ballmer. Like Microsoft.
I mean, it's not a perfect example.
No,
I'm just saying, like, they could. To say they could doesn't mean
To
that
say
it's
they could.
the end of the world.
No.
But it's a good point to be like, yeah, that they could do this, so we need to make sure.
Go ahead.
We need to make sure that it is not a Fox Disney type of deal, right?
Pretty much, and it's one of those weird things too, because with Fox and Disney, part of me is like, man, I'm really excited that Disney finally has all the Marvel characters again, and then you look at all the other stuff they acquire, it's like, I don't know if that's a great thing that they have all these major franchises.
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for them to fuck up every single world of everything, and then make one or two like really awesome ones.
Yeah.
Damn it! I did it again.
Because the updated Disney page it had Deadpool and Mickey Mouse sitting right next to each other.
That's fucking hilarious. And if they keep that, that's great. I think we're holding them to the counterpoint in the history of Disney, which we very well should.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
I mean, Disney's done a good job with the Muppets. It's done Muppets. It's done a good job keeping its rated R pictures because it has produced a lot, but it did it under Touchstone. Like Roger Rabbit was Touchstone Pictures. So Disney has a history of. I'm not worried about them sanitizing Deadpool. You just won't see the Disney logo pop up from it. It'll be one of their subsidiary companies.
I hope they have someone else in charge, which they're gonna have to. Like. For like doing Deadpool, they're not going to be like, all right, like we oversee every part of it. They're going to be like, yeah, we got too much shit. We trust that some of you are going to have or do this.
I imagine
correctly.
Kevin Feige will be looking at it, but other than Kevin Feige, and he's a smart enough guy to realize, like, yeah, we'll have some suggestions, but they had suggestions on the previous Deadpool too. They weren't completely unattached.
Okay.
Because Marvel always has opinions, but when it's a Marvel Studios picture, they have more autonomy to do exactly what they want. They're like, no, we don't like this shit, or no, this director's wrong. They can kind of get rid of that director. Whereas before, when it was through Fox, they'd be like, we can give advice, we can give you things that we think should be this way, but you don't have to listen. It's like, hey, here's some free advice, but Avi Rod's gonna do what he wants anyways.
Yeah, I can see how that's fucking worrisome, and it makes sense. You know, I think I'm trying to like look at it in the best light because it's like, well, fuck, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
Like that fucking sucks.
It's just one of those things like,
You know?
Google's
We can hope for the
in.
best.
Yeah, just the way they were going about it, my brother made a funny tweet. He's like, oh, it's really hard to sit through this video of Google with the hubris that's going on right now of their press conference.
Yeah, I didn't see it, so I really ought to.
I would listen to it like with you, like someone commenting over it, because it's really hard. It would be really hard for me just to sit there. I listened to the Giant Bombcast and go through it.
I don't think I'm going to be able to listen to Matt Pat
over
talking over
I
it.
skipped
So
over
to
it.
have somebody just kind of help
As
me,
soon as I saw Matt Pat, I was
help
like,
me go through it.
this is not going to be anything crucial information-wise. I'm sorry, but I'm off the train. Skip.
Yeah, I feel like Matt Pat fine.
He's fine. I watched some of his stuff for a while, but then it all became very samey, and
he's not for me.
yeah, it didn't jive with me after a certain point. But nothing wrong.
Oh
with
shit,
it.
there is something over here.
There are far worse people on YouTube to be spending your time with.
Did I already? Yeah, like us.
Yeah.
Did
I wasn't
already
gonna
get
make
the
that
thing
joke,
over here?
but you go for it.
I mean, it's
That's
true.
Crystal Heart.
What is this?
It's a book. There's a dusty old book. See, I called it. On an open table. A poem is
Goddamn.
written in the faded pages. An apparition not of this world, but because of it, lurking out a frame. Awake in my heart is a fortress. In dreams I am vulnerable. Haiku by Old Woman.
So we got to come here
Number
during
5.
we got to come down here during the dream time. The heart's vulnerable during dream time. Ah, fuck.
When are we in dream moment?
We just came out of it. Dream moment is at the beginning of the level.
Oh.
But there's one more
do you get
strawberry,
up
I
there?
think. Well, you have to get up there via. Ooh, I don't know if you could do it from this side. We should hunt it down in non-dream time
This must, yeah, we probably could have got up there non-dream time.
without knowing it, yeah. Or in dream time, because this is non-dream time right now, currently.
Right, we probably need to reset it.
So we're going to have to go back. But I want to try and get this last strawberry. I don't know if I passed it yet or not.
Oh, yeah.
So let's see. I don't think so. I think it's at the end of this section right here.
Boop. Boop.
Did it. You think we'll be able to get the second one? I think we've already tried it a million times.
I don't know. It's a good chance. Good chance we might.
Oh, come on. Let me up there.
But yeah, the new Google thing, it could be very interesting and could be very detrimental, but hopefully good.
I think you're right in keeping the thought process of, I'm hoping for the best, but I have historical
evidence.
Historical evidence of like this could easily
be
taken incorrectly.
Yeah.
And done badly in a way. Oh, you fucking bastard!
Yeah, that's more so. It's like, I don't want to see a Disney Fox takeover by Google where like this becomes the only platform. It's like, no, we've had that before, and that's not good for the gaming industry. That was the Atari, and we all know what happened with the Atari.
We definitely don't want a single entity representing any point of business, because then they can do shitty shit and get away with it.
Yeah, the best thing that happened in the game industry is when the Dreamcast kind of went away and we got the three kind of core tentpoles, which is Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. Because it's always been forcing them all to innovate and really try and like one-up each other in the best way possible.
Son of a bitch. Yeah, competition helps, man, especially when you're like, oh, Nintendo's out of it. It's like, Nintendo's never out
Nintendo's
of it.
never out. Nintendo's the one company I'm not worried about Google getting its, like, claws around type of deal. Like, I can see Nintendo, because of how strong its IPs are, surviving. It's more so other companies, like even Sony, for instance, like, who has had money troubles in the past, and the gaming thing has been kind of one of their core tentpole money makers. Like, oh, I could see Sony becoming vulnerable, or Google being like, oh, hey, Sony almost took over Take-Two. How about we take over Take-Two? Hey, look it. No one else gets to play Rockstar games except on Google platforms.
I don't think anyone's out of the question.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you're like, oh, yeah, Nintendo, they'll never sell out. For $200 billion? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they would.
Maybe, yeah.
You know, like, that's obviously a crazy fucking number, and I'm not giving like realistic numbers and stuff, but what'd they buy Fox for?
Yeah.
Wasn't that an insane amount? I'm pretty sure everyone at Fox is like, fuck yeah, sure.
I think Fox was like 10 billion or something like that.
I have no idea, but I know it was a crazy amount, and it was in the billions. So I'm like, well, I mean, you'd like to think that, but when someone's throwing down that many zeros, you're like, some stipulations, but yeah, let's talk. Let's go into, type of
Does all that money go to the guy that owned the company?
I don't know how it gets distributed, man.
That's weird.
I'm sure there's a whole bunch of government stuff that goes into it. God, imagine the taxes. We will see you guys next time. Beep, bop, boop.
That's how we get out of the trade deficit. Just have all the big companies merge together, take all those taxes.
Take all the taxes.
On all the taxes.
And then we have to pay blood money to them for the rest of our lives, because they basically own the government, because they have way more money than
lobbyists own the government anyway, so
he fucking said it. Not too far from the truth.